So I am maybe a little bit slow and behind because this product here was released back in 2018 and I hadn't seen it before now in 2022. So I was actually really excited in getting this one, even though it was released back in 2018. And what I am talking about is the BenQ ScreenBar. It's basically a LED bar for your desktop, replaces a normal like desk lamp, and I found this really useful for my setup. It does not take any space, it lights up the whole like desk evenly, and it's not like in the way of any other thing. So it's a 320 lumen light, so it's actually fairly bright and we have no problems lighting up my whole keyboard. I use it on the lowest settings while I use it, and I found it really useful for like doing repairs where I need more light on my desktop, and also then like watching a YouTube video to see how I will do the repair, or maybe I will turn off the screen and then do like some like kind of homework where I just sit there and write on this pad, and then it just replaces a normal desk lamp. 320 lumen, if this were to be an incandescent light bulb, it would be around 30 watts. But this lamp here is just drawing 5 watts, so it's not really getting too hot, and the LEDs in this lamp here is not put at a strain either, and they expect a lifetime up to 50,000 hours. Often you have those ratings from the manufacturers of the LEDs, but it's more important for the manufacturer like using the LEDs to have sufficient cooling, because that is what really kills an LED. But this one doesn't get too hot, so we get more than enough surface area, I think, to cool down these LEDs for that long lifespan. You can also change the color temperature of this lamp from 2700 to 6500 Kelvin. I personally like to have it on more of the warmer side, or the most like yellowish, to more mimic a all kind of incandescent light bulb, because in my environment, especially during the winter, we have a lot of like blue light and white coming from the outdoor, where we have a lot of snow and such, and therefore it's like nice to have a little bit more of a cozy yellowish colors to the light. The lamp uses a fairly basic reflector, but I have to say it works. It's just a reflector at a slight angle with the LEDs shining into it. But as we can see with this like kind of beam shot here, we will see that we don't really get too much light that will bounce into the screen to make it a worse experience when it comes to like contrast and such, because this lamp is shining on the screen itself, and we see that we get most of the light shining just down to the desk pad itself. So I think they've done a good job here. I think they've done a good job with the mounting system as well. It's basically just using gravity with this really heavy weight on the backside, and we have a slight of a clip or edge on the front, so it's like hanging on the front of the screen, and the weight on the back is like pulling it backwards. I think this works best on a screen with a little bit of a screen bezel around it, but the mount is like rubberized, so even though you have a more of a thin display without any bezel around it, I don't really think you will have an issue. But if you are an iPhone user, even having it mounted this way, I don't really think you will notice any difference. But for others, maybe you will get a little bit annoyed that we got like this kind of buzz field on the top of your monitor, where this holder is blocking a little bit of the actual screen area. But it's really nice and universal, and I can mount it on all of my monitors without a problem. I can shake it around and it sits on there really nice and stable. So this lamp here is like a desk lamp, and maybe you will have it on for a long time while you are trying to repair something. and then you maybe are using your head a lot. So it's a nice thing to not get a headache from the light. And with old kind of lights, especially LED lights, you'll have this slight flicker. And there is some research to this, that this kind of flicker, even though you don't see it with your eyes, you can see it on camera, will affect your like brain, or you will. It's not a good thing, and maybe you will get a little bit of a headache or something like that in the long run. But as we see here, it's not like a low hertz LED frequency lamp, and we don't have that flicker. So that is just a nice thing, that you maybe have a problem if you are buying some kind of knockoff cheaper lamp, that you will have this ugly flicker. So we have a color rendering index of 80 on this lamp here. I'm not really sure how they would specify it when it is like a multi-Kelvin lamp, when it comes to where that 80 color rendering range is. But a color rendering index of 80 from a LED lamp, that isn't that bad at all. I would say it's like maybe medium to a high color rendering index when it comes to LEDs. And what is color rendering index is basically how you see an object when a light bounces off it. Light contains a lot of like different colors at different levels, and if it's a bad quality LED, it will maybe have less of one color, even though you will always just see the lamp as almost white. It can like miss a color, so when that lamp is shining off an object, it will get a little bit like of discolorization and not show you the true colors of the object if you were to see or compare it to a high CRI lamp, with the maximum being a high CRI of 100, and I think it maybe starts off from 0 and 80. It's not anything that we can complain about. But if you were to like buy a knockoff lamp or something, maybe the CRI rating is not true and they are maybe totally faking it, so you will like have a bad performing light, not showing you the true colors of the objects it's actually lighting up. And basically it's because high CRI LEDs with high efficiency are more expensive to make and manufacture and such.